What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Black Diamond AJ. Today, I'm here with an audio only episode, here to talk about the younger Dryas Impact Theory. Um, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. This is some pretty interesting stuff. How I came across this before we get started into the information, how I came across this was randomly I was looking on YouTube, right? And I was trying to find the human timeline, basically, like how long have humans existed, um etc. How many thousands of years in the past do we go? And what I ended up finding was about 10,000 years ago. At the time, it was a rough estimate from the video I was watching. About 10 to 13,000 years ago, humans stopped innovating. And it was weird because you could tell all throughout the world, cultures that have never interacted with each other are kind of coming up with, some of the same results when it comes to advancing in civilization. Now, this is the part that got me. It's just a dead point right there in the timeline to where humans just all stopped innovating. We stopped growing. We stopped building things. And for some weird, odd reason, we had got a reset. Now, this was my funny ass explanation for it before. I honestly said it could be extraterrestrial, right? Because logically, this is what I said. You're telling me that you can tell me dinosaurs died from a asteroid and the after effects of that catastrophe about 300 million years ago, correct? And now you're telling me that you can't find how they just stopped innovating. Like, you can tell me how people died off hundreds of years ago. You can carbon date things. There's all these things you can do to get what happened in the past. But you're sitting here and telling me that you can't figure out, number one, how humans just stopped producing all over the world. Well, that's where Younger Dryas comes in. Before we get started, the source of these Younger Dryas notes and findings and researches are from Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson, two archaeological experts on the Younger Dryas Impact Theory in field. This is provided by in-field research and peer-reviewed data. So this is shit you can look up on the internet if you find the right sources, the correct sources. So let's get started then. What is the Younger Dryas Impact Theory, AJ? What the fuck are you talking about? Well, let's just put it like this. It's a theory or the notion that about, like I said, 10 to 12,000 years ago, the Earth experienced a type of cataclysm. And this cataclysm ended up causing the most recent form of what we would call the Ice Age. In 1,000 years of freezing temperatures, rising sea levels, massive extinctions of species, and a whole lot more problems cascading from that. Now, this was a series of impacts that happened all over the earth. It didn't happen just in one area. It's not a single crater to where you could find as to where this happened. This happened all over the world, and it happened in different places in the world, which is the weirder part, right? You would think that, when you get an asteroid or some shit to come down from space, that it would hit one spot. Well, this was a period of consistent impacts from space. And they have the geographical evidence, the archaeological evidence. We already have the archaeological evidence when we have structures all over the world that we can't even explain how they were built, right? We always talk about how, the ancients and how ancient people, were kind of ahead of their time. And we see these structures like the pyramids of Giza or the pyramids in the Amazon or the pillar that's over there in the Middle East. I forget which country it is specifically, but there is an iron pillar. I believe it's in Turkey. Yes. It's an iron pillar, and this pillar is so fine, and it's just there. You got things like the Stonehenge. You have things in Africa. You have Egyptian findings in North America. You have similarities between, humans in South America and Western Africa. Now, this is where, it gets a little bit murky, I would say, right? When it comes to the ancient humans. Um, to be honest with you guys, the Egyptians are probably the best examples that we have, right? Let me talk about the structure in the Amazon. Everybody knows about the fucking pyramids of Giza, bro. Let's talk about the Amazon structures that nobody seems to talk about, right? So in the Amazon, there are huge structures under the canopy, the thick canopy that is the beautiful Amazon rainforest in South America. Very few have been explored by humans. Most have been identified by LiDAR. Now, LiDAR is laser detection technology, where basically you point a laser somewhere where you can't see and it'll be able to map out what's there, what the laser touches, right? This is how they can see different depths of the ocean that we can't go to. And this is how they are able to see inside of canyons and mountains, etc. Right? This is what they use. It's called LiDAR. This is what they use to kind of explore and do other things, right? LiDAR is also on self-automated driving vehicles too. So it has different uses, right? But basically, the gist of LiDAR is you use a laser to detect and to see what's in front of you, right? Very little has been explored by LiDAR, this beautiful technology itself. It's not even really beautiful or new. It's been around for a little bit. But even in North America, there were structures that were plowed down for farmland and infrastructure. Now, when you think about the Egyptian city from before, right? We're talking about ancient humans here. How the hell did Egyptians get from northern Africa to the west coast of the United fucking States, or the west coast of North America at the time, right? Well, that explains that we already know humans in themselves have been around for a very long time, longer than they've told us. We'll get back to that point in a minute. And also, you have to think about the pyramids that are found underwater. You have to think about pyramids not only in Egypt, but also Nubia, also pyramids in India. There are pyramids all over the world. There are structures all over the world. Think of the seven wonders of the world. Like literally, we can pull up the seven wonders of the world. This is what I want you guys to do. I want you to go on Google, wherever you listen on this from. Go on Google, and I want you to type in the seven wonders of the world. I'm about to show you guys something. The Great Pyramid of Giza is number one, right? The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the Myth Colossus of Rhodes, the Lighthouse of Alexandria, the Temple of Artemis, Statue of Zeus at Olympia, the Mausoleum at the Halicarnassus. Is that how you pronounce it? These are the seven wonders of the ancient world, right? Now, you sit back and you wonder, right? Where the hell did some of these things come from? Let's talk about more of the Great Wall of China, Chichen Itza, Petra, Machu Picchu, the Colosseum, the Taj Mahal. There are many structures around the world from different cultures that show you that humans were building huge pieces of infrastructure before we started, kind of, sort of, about 250 years ago, right? Now, let's sit back and let's think about this, right? We know that the Sphinx and the pyramids of Giza are about at least 10,000 years old, right? So the notion in religion that the world started about 2 to 5,000 years ago is wrong, completely wrong. And that's probably when religion was just about thought up of or instituted heavily into society that we know it as today. So when we go back and think about the Younger Dryas, you guys, is the reason why a lot of these structures, number one, got buried, half-as destroyed, kind of sort of washed away, and just kind of deformed from the original form, right? Now, let's think about the Sphinx and the pyramids of Giza. The pyramids of Giza do not look how they look today. Back then, according to scientists and experts, those stones looked like bright limestone, I believe. I believe it was limestone that they used. I would have to look into that even more. But I'm pretty sure there was a type of stone that they used was limestone. And it was white. It wasn't dark and nasty how you see it today. It was fucking white and it had gold at the top of the fucking pyramid. And you're sitting here telling me Humans 10 plus thousand years ago built this huge structure, and us 10 plus thousand years today can't figure out how the fuck they did it. Well, I have even more of an explanation and a theory on that. But as you can see where I'm going with the pretty much the unexplained structure that everybody has so many questions about, these structures were around for thousands of years. Some well over 10,000 of years. Some maybe even 20. We don't know that. But we know for a fact that a lot of the old infrastructure that was built by ancient humans were buried. It's a lot of pyramids that are buried under sand that we still have yet to find. It's a lot of tombs we have yet to find. We still haven't found the tomb of Alexander the Great. I mean, come on now. Now, I'm not saying that the Younger Dryas is the reason why we can't find it, but that goes to show you how far ahead the ancient humans were compared to how we are today. If we can't figure that shit out, but you telling me they were the ones that built it, you let me know how advanced we were. Push on to the next subject about Atlantis and Plato. This is further evidence about the Younger Dryas Impact Theory. Everybody knows that Plato was a real person. Everybody understands that Plato was a man in Greece, and there were many philosophers like him in his day that ended up going to Africa to learn and get an education and to bring some of that knowledge back to Greece. These are indisputable facts to people who may doubt that. Now, let's move on to Plato and his reference to Atlantis. Plato mentioned how Egyptian priests told of an advanced civilization that, quote unquote, angered the gods. This great civilization was sunk into the depths of the ocean. In Plato's time, this was about 9,000 years ago. Plato existed about 2,500 years ago. Let's actually look this up. Yes. Okay. So as I'm looking at it right here, Plato existed for he was around about 2,500 years ago. I just looked it up. 2,500 years ago, Plato was there, right? He said that the priest told him about 9,000 years ago, from that point in time, that there was a great flood that sunk a great civilization, an advanced civilization, right? Now, you guys can do math. I'm pretty sure, passed middle school, right? We know how to add shit. So I want you to do something. Add 9,000 years ago from Plato's time plus the 2,500 years in between the present and Plato's life. The number you get is about 11 and a half to 12,000 years. How long ago did the Younger Dryas happen, according to experts? About 11 to 12,000 years ago. So let's talk about the floods that happened all over the world, right? So this is exactly what happened during this Younger Dryas period. During this period, I told you about the 1,000 years of freezing temperatures and rising sea levels, right? Well, the reason why the sea levels rose is because we had an ice age, 1,000 years of freezing temperatures. We had a small ice age. And what happened is the temperature, remember, Younger Dryas impact, from so many impacts and so many things happening to the planet itself, it ended up flooding some of the oceans. And what I mean by that is, the ice caps that existed during the last ice age was melted. It ended up raising the sea level pretty high. The sea level rose to the point where it flooded so many different civilizations and so many different structures, and a lot of things were destroyed. I'm keeping it on Atlantis and flooding for a reason, because also in the Bible, some of you may know about Noah's Ark, when God flooded the earth. The Great Flood of Mesopotamia, I believe so. Or the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's one of the two. I cannot believe. I don't know which one. I can't believe which one it is. But a flood happened. There are multiple cultures that talk about a flood that happened many thousand years ago. This further corroborates with the science, the physical evidence that we have about the Younger Dryas impact. It's not too far-fetched to believe that in the event that they called when the sea levels rose during the Younger Dryas is called the meltwater pulse B 1B. This could have very much been the thing that sunk Atlantis, and not only Atlantis, but also a lot of things over there in the Mediterranean, in that general area of the Mediterranean Sea. Now, let's plug that piece of evidence of Atlantis and Plato. We've already concluded that myths can exist, right? This is before, outside of what we talked about in this podcast. You have instances like Troy, Pompeii, hell, fucking now Atlantis, right? What said is that these myths weren't necessarily myths. They found the city of Troy. They found it. Like it's no longer just a thing that was in myths. It's a thing that was found. Now that gives you a different idea about myths as a whole and where you will want to go with believing them and how far they may apply to things in the current world that we know that is backed by science or not. However, you can sit back and you can clearly see that maybe Atlantis wasn't as sensationalized as they made it out to be in modern media, but the place probably did exist. It probably is some truth that it existed. Mind you, all of these sources come from archaeological experts that have sat down and peer-reviewed data brought up by these two guys. People who have been doing this for as long as I've been born. I'm only 24. People who've been doing it longer than I've been born are backing this theory up. Let's move on to the next let's say question I would have. Now, around all of this, right, you have to ask, well, shit, how long ago did modern civilization exist? Well, modern civilization had existed before, but when you take into account the Younger Dryas impact, we got reset about 5,000 years into the past, at least 5,000, right? Okay, fine. If Younger Dryas did not happen, we would be 5,000 years or 10,000 years ahead of the game to where we are now. How long have humans been around? The timeline is so fucking vast and huge, and it's changed so much over just the last 10 to 15 years alone. When I was in middle school, they told us humans have been around for about 250,000 years, correct? Well, according to recent findings, humans were cooking fish in conventional ovens 700,000 years ago. Let me say it again, people. 700,000 years ago. That's almost three times of the amount of years that they taught me in middle school. That is ridiculous. Now, when you ask the further question, we were cooking fish about 700,000 years ago, right? That also, just a little side note, tells you that veganism is bullshit. But let's keep going, because clearly about 700,000 years of evolution has caused us to eat meat and fish. No wonder fish is a better meat, a healthier meat to eat than red meat. What do you fucking know? Because we've been eating it for almost a million fucking years. Excuse my passion, you guys. It's just that when I learn about stuff like this, it fascinates me as to how long humans have been around. Let me hit you with this. Anatomically, as in the way I exist and the way you exist. Arm, leg, arm, head, with 5 digits on both hands and 5 digits on your toes, on your feet, that have voice boxes and that can probably not speak elaborate languages, but they probably had different ways to communicate. Anatomically, according to experts, we have been around for, get this, 2 million years. This is fucking news to me. I don't know if this is news to anybody else, but this is fucking news to me. I didn't know we were around for even 1 million years, let alone half a million. But it seems like the timeline keeps expanding and getting longer and longer and longer, right? The fact that humans have anatomically been around for almost 2 million years would account for the fact that we have been advanced as we are today. There is nothing disproving the fact or the case that may be we already existed to where we are today without the digital shit. If you honestly took away all of the digitizing of society as a whole, right, and you let everything go back to the way it is without being digital at all, everything has some type of tangible way to get it done. Did we advance that far? We already know ancient Egyptians and ancient Greeks. Remember Plato, and remember a lot of Greeks were traveling to Egypt. Cleopatra was a Greek. They were experimenting with electricity. And here we have motherfuckers like fucking Thomas Jefferson thinking he invented a fucking light bulb. You didn't. You didn't. You didn't. You just improved on something that already existed. 2 million years, you guys. You can't sit here and tell me that we did not have advanced ways of building these structures that was mentioned in the beginning. Remember, like I said, they don't know how ancient Egyptians assembled the pyramids. Let me move into this one. 1 second. The funny thing about the ancient humans, right? Let's go back to this point. The ancient humans, let's go back about how ancient humans, ancient cultures around the world used alchemy, quantum physics, and astrology to live as they did before. According to actual modern day experts, the pyramids may have been assembled by, get this, you guys, using sound. Sound, yes, sound. Frequencies, hertz, right? For those of you who may know already about how powerful sound is on matter, sound is energy, and sound does influence matter. Humans themselves are made of matter. So sound affects us. I read a long time ago during my Illuminati conspiracy theory research that music has the power to control people. As I get older, it does. It did, and it will continue to do so. You want to know why? Because music soothes the savage beast. You can control things using sound. There's a reason why ancient humans chanted together. There's a reason why deep frequencies and chimes and tones get your attention and make you act a certain way. There's a reason why music with certain 808s and beats make you act a certain way. That R&B or love songs can make you feel a certain way. Sound can control us. Sound can control things. Frequency is energy. And everything in the universe vibrates. You want to know why? Because everything in the universe has a frequency. According to quantum physics, that's truth. Now, we can't sit here and debate fucking science because that is obviously true. Spirituality is backed by quantum physics, and quantum physics backs spirituality. So it's like it's like a cycle that repeats itself of us finding out about things, right? There were reports from years ago about people feeling something when they get near the pyramids in Giza. This feeling aligns with the frequency that the ancients used to move stones, right? When you plug 2 plus 2, it equals 4. Sound can indeed manipulate matter, as shown in quantum physics, even to the point of fine control if the correct frequency is found. Ancient civilizations turned copper into gold using alchemy. Batteries were invented thousands of years ago in Greece, Egypt, as well as China. I already told you about how Egyptians used electricity. So you're sitting here and you're telling me humans have been building and using science, math, and technology for several thousand years. Only to this current point in the timeline are we in the digital era, the digital eon, the digital age. That's the only difference between humans that existed 10,000 years ago and humans that exist now. We've been eating the same. We've been fucking the same. We've been acting the same towards each other with conquerors and uh, pillagers and innocents alike. Nothing changed from humans. Nothing fundamentally changed at all. And when you sit here and you add in the fact, right now, this is my reaction to the general thing. When you sit back and you think about the 2 million year timeline humans have been around, coupled with the physical evidence we have that humans have been around and doing things like cooking fish in conventional ovens, which we use today. We've been using ovens for hundreds of thousands of years. The concept of an oven, of heating something in an enclosed space, has been around for thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years. If we've been cooking fish and meat with it, come on, man. Come on, man. Honestly, like, it makes sense. It honestly makes sense. They can't explain. Researchers and experts, all these smart motherfuckers, could not explain how the pyramids in Giza were built. They can't explain how these pyramids were built, and they find pyramids underwater. They find these big, huge fucking structures and boulders like the Stonehenge and the Olmec statues that exist in Middle and South America. All of these goddamn structures and seven wonders of the world, the pillar in fucking Turkey, all of these fucking wonders and questions that we have about the ancient world, the Great Wall of China. You are sitting here and you're telling me, with all of our quote unquote modern advances in technology, we can't figure out exactly how they did it, and it's not widely accepted. Well, now it's starting to be a little bit more accepted now that the younger Dryas theory, impact theory, is starting to become not more of a theory, but more so accepted. Humans were reset. We got reset. That's exactly what happened. We were reset. And there is no way you're going to sit here and tell me that concepts like religion are real. We was experimenting with fucking psychedelics tens of thousands of years ago. Who's to fucking say that most religions on the planet today did not come from humans using psychedelics thousands of years ago? Huh? You're telling me that these motherfuckers that existed thousands of years ago, and we are supposedly quote unquote more advanced than them, were able to map the fucking stars using goddamn pyramids. They were able to create constellations. Everybody that follows a fucking zodiac does not know, or some people don't know, that zodiacs are constellations. Let me look this up through Google, because apparently I'm not as smart enough, right? Oh, let's look up sources across the web. Fuck that. Let's go to some. Fuck Wikipedia. Nope. Constellation Guide. Nope. Britannica. Nope. Here we go. So, are zodiac signs also constellations? One constellation tradition is the Western Zodiac. This is according to space.com under the Science and Astronomy tab. The Western Zodiac, which is made up of 12 constellations: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Hmm. I fucking wonder how. I fucking wonder how. I remember a group of young women, because mainly women believe in the zodiac shit, that these are constellations that you're looking at. You do know stars shift over thousands of years worth of time, right? Now that the human timeline is about 2 million years, who's to fucking say that those stars even fucking exist anymore? Now, I'm not saying that zodiacs are as old as a million years, but they for sure go back several thousands years ago. You're sitting here telling me that we still think that we are bound by the same thing of a star that's millions of light years away. How do we even get to the point of mapping constellations? Because we were advanced. We were advanced ahead of our time. But when you have the younger Dryas impact happen all over the world, humans had to stop. We had to recess. We had to survive through the ice age. You can go on Google, actually, not only Google, but you can look up maps of Antarctica and how it changed over time thousands of years ago. There's a reason why a map exists. It's because humans were mapping through the ice age. Obviously, if they were fucking advanced enough to put gold on the top of high ass fucking pyramids using sound to assemble some of these things, and the more evidence that we uncover, the more we have to accept it. Humans have been around for a very long time and have been doing very intelligent things with science, math, technology, hell, even medicine. It was already here. This is the result of the Younger Dryas Impact Theory, and this is exactly why humans are supposed to be more advanced than we already are, but we were held back. I remember I said that it was extraterrestrial aliens. Well, no, it was not aliens, but it was extraterrestrial, yes. I'm gonna I want you guys to watch. This is just a shorter, condensed version of about the Younger Dryas Impact Theory and what it has done and how it set humans back thousands of years ago, and to how humans were already advanced. I want you guys to go look up the Graham Hancock and the Randall Carlson interview by Joe Rogan. And these guys, they will show you maps, geographical maps. They have maps that will communicate the point even further about the Younger Dryas Impact Theory. And they also talk about Atlantis and all that and such. But bottom line, it all culminates to this. And I'll leave you guys with this one. Humans have been around for a very long time. We've been cooking fish for about 700,000 years. There are great structures around the world that we don't know how they were built, and we are supposed to currently be the most advanced that we are. I truly need to understand something here. The truth of our existence as human beings will forever change. We don't have the final facts and we don't know. But as we catch back up to where I guess we used to be, we are able to find out things. We have the digital age to help us now. And it probably makes a reason as to why humans advanced so fast in a shorter amount of time. Because that is a universal rule. Consistency leads to stability. Instantaneously could lead to disaster. Humans took thousands of years to build what it is they had, and it was wiped away, washed away, crushed, burned, etc. And now we have to start back over again. But hey, it is what it is, you know. Now we have nuclear energy and we have the digital age to help us. So we can find out shit like this, and you can listen to things like this and find shit out like this without you having to go halfway across the fucking world to risk your fucking life to figure it out. You got people like me to tell you. But who knows? Maybe there were public speaking conventions, kind of like how people assemble to listen to a podcast, just probably in real time in coliseums, etc. But hey, humans don't invent anything new. It's something that already existed as a concept. So, with that being said, you guys, thank y'all for listening to this podcast. I really wanted to hammer home the 3 points about the Younger Dryas Impact and basically what it is, so we can kind of culminate this in like a little wrap up here. So basically, the Younger Dryas Impact Theory is, well, not a theory. It's an event that happened about 12,500 years ago that caused human civilization to almost become extinct, a lot of animals to become extinct, and a lot of ancient structures that we built prior to said event to be washed away and or deformed. The proof of this are the ancient humans, Egyptians, Mesopotamians, Indians, the Chinese, Native Americans, South Americans, etc., wherever in the world, have unique structures, unique builds, unique things, and unique mounds that prove that they were building very advanced infrastructures in their age. We can't even explain it today about how some of these structures were built and how they're able to be maintained. We have myths like Atlantis and Troy that now, with the proper physical, tangible evidence, it exists. Oh, and to culminate the Atlantis point, Atlantis, the center, the eye of Atlantis, center of Atlantis, is actually in a desert now. Further proving the Younger Dryas Impact Theory about the flooding that happened and that other religions around the world mentioned happened. The human timeline of us existing anatomically about 2 million years ago, but we were cooking fish in conventional ovens 700,000 years ago. All of these pieces of evidence point to the fact that the Younger Dryas Impact Theory set humans back in terms of civilization, advancement, and technology, and also science. We had to relearn all of these things that we kind of know today, right? It just amazes me how humans know, we think we know everything, but we haven't even explored every inch of this planet yet. It's a lot of questions and a lot of answers, and I'm pretty sure even after hearing some of this and doing your own research on the Younger Dryas Impact Theory, you can have the same questions that I have. What was it like, truly? And if we were as advanced as we were, is it possible that extraterrestrial life visited? Who knows? We don't have proof of that. But that's another podcast on another point for another time. I want you guys to be good, be safe, be happy, bring some value to somebody, be someone's happiness, be somebody's light, tell somebody you love them, make some money, be financially happy and healthy in doing so. Take care of your family. All good positive energy goes to everybody who listens to this podcast. And thank God if you stayed around to the end, because to be honest, most people probably click off around 10 minutes in. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for staying. I enjoy y'all. We will be having these audio formats a little bit more frequent when it's only me. But when a camera is needed, then those will drop on YouTube and Facebook as well. All of that is in the description below. All of that is in the video scrolling at the bottom. And I want you guys to have fun, man. Be easy. Live life. Tell somebody you love them and keep on pushing.